Some Turks intellectual liberals used to say that in fact both peoples are suffering, both people, Armenian Turks are suffering a huge pain. On the other hand, Turks are suffering the paranoia of what we call the civil state, the paranoia of the disintegration of the countries. On the other hand, Armenians suffering of the genocide trauma. You told during your lecture, you witnessed that this pain which we are suffering is actually something abstract, but not very palpable. Actually, do you think that this kind of comparison between both trauma, which some intellectuals used to say is particular, correct?
Thank you very much. Reminds me of Hasan Cemal's talk and the discussion. This made the audience really angry. And in order to follow up all this discussion, Armenian Weekly, Hajik Muradyan, he's my student now, he wrote a response to Hasan Cemal, and I wrote a response to Hajik Muradyan, and I sent all this to Hasan Cemal, and Hasan Cemal's answer was, there is no other way but we have to discuss with each other. And my observation I can tell to you, it is very interesting for me in this process, everyone listened in other different things. I never listened from listening Hasan Cemal, I never heard that he used the sentence, forget the past. But this is how you heard. Yes, exactly. I heard his speech, that's why I can assure you. But it's not important. We are not debating what he said, what he didn't say. The important thing is your perception of Hasan Cemal. This is, for me, important. I have to understand and ask the question, why you understood him in that way? Because if I can understand you, then I can address it adequately, that we can find a way and go ahead with that issue. Because this is the difficulties that we have with the trauma issue also. In Turkey, because of nationalism, the dominance of the nationalistic thinking, it is dominant among Turkish intellectuals to equate Turkish suffering with Armenian suffering. This is a reality, and you may not get angry with this thought. This is maybe mostly our job as Turkish intellectuals, but you have to also understand and listen the origin of these thoughts and how it can be changed. I think it is a big mistake to equate Armenian suffering with Turkish suffering. First of all, I have personal problems to use these collective terms in that way, Turkish suffering. Which suffering we are talking about? Definitely, in human history, every collective had bad experience and suffers something. Like Second World War, Germans suffered also during Second World War. If we have a free debate and discuss about the German suffering during the Second World War, we would discuss, we said, yeah, poor Germans, I mean, they suffered, they couldn't find something to eat, and it's very normal. As a human being, I would love to discuss about it. But what makes Armenians also angry, to put this as an alternative to a genocide, to equate, to try to create as an alternative. And whenever the problem is not whether or not Turks suffer, the problem is why do we need to raise this question when we are talking on Armenian genocide? Because we want to relativize the Armenian genocide and suffering. That's why we are putting the others there. If we look closer, we can define the way of suffering of the Turks. Balkan Turks, Muslims generally, it's not Turks, but the Muslims suffered. They were massacred by Serbs, by Bulgarians, by Greeks who are Muslims. thousands, hundreds of thousands of them, escaped to Turkey. This is a suffering. But what does it to do with Armenian genocide? What is the relation between Balkans, the Muslim suffering in Balkan, with the Armenian genocide? You can raise the massacre of Turks by the Greeks if you want to really develop a reconciliation in Turkish-Greek relations. It makes sense that you can argue that let's put everything on the table and discuss a little bit. So, one important problem that we have in our field is that we don't have this moral ground that we acknowledge and understand that Armenian genocide was a crime and crime of the crimes. And it cannot be put in equation with other form of human suffering. I always give the example of Ahmet Rıza, 1918, in a parliament debate when some Turkish deputy members raised the question and tried to equate Turkish suffering to the Armenians, and Ahmet Rıza, the Turkish deputy, told that none of the Armenian government members or government or Armenian people attacked Turkish houses, took from their home and throw them out from their houses and killed them in front of their houses. This is not the same